sit down, coming out of PE town. Drink, find a shot, never mind your liver, get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot!
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot!
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle, have a Gino shot.
Gino's shot!
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot!
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot!
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle, get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot!
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gino's Spot. I see we've got some people on already. That's fantastic. Carol Jacobs, you didn't even make it first this time. It is Happy Raz. You're the first one to make it online. Look at you. We got your number. And Jacques Sam. I don't know if it can't be the same as first. Somebody's got to be first and you got to be second. So you are second. Yes, Happy Rads he made it in. I've been waiting. Happy Rads. I don't know what Happy Rads is. Sounds nice. I hope you've all got a drink, ladies and gentlemen. You've got something to sip on because we've got to have a lovely conversation with Andre Erasmus. And we're going to talk about a couple of old times, new times, what he's been doing overseas, what's happening in England, why he took all the petrol, why he's depleted all the Tesco's. We'll see what's happening there. We'll check catch up on what's on all the news, indeed, because the news is what his life was all about. We can, if it's a team event. You mean you had a tag team? No, it can only be one first person. That's that. And Carol Jacobs is normally that one, but she was a little bit slow. I think third. Nick Erasmus was third. Well done, indeed. I didn't really know this was a competition for the first one to comment, but fantastic. I'm glad you all are. And tell me what you're drinking. Tell me where you're watching from, because I want to know where you guys are in the world. I know there's going to be lots of people from all over the place tonight because of course, Andre is over in the United Kingdom, which is quite interesting. Excellent indeed. And being on 2 minutes before, Carol says. Third, Michael, no, you're at least 6th or 8th here. I tell you, even Lynn Erasmus made it before you. I can see that. All right, but you're kidding. This is not a competition, guys. You're getting me distracted. I'm ADD as it is. All right, so we are here on a Thursday night, and we are actually doing the Saturday show on Thursday. Because why? Because we have a gig. Because Cyril opened stuff up for the election. So we're going to ride on that wave. That's right. Thank you very much. And thank you to our sponsors. Fitchin Leeds, as you can see, and Spa, indeed, Spa are having their race this weekend. Don't forget to have a look at the Grand Prix this weekend at UPE. There's NMMU is going to be hosting the Grand Prix, the 10K. Those ladies are quick. They are super quick. You won't believe the pace that they run. Man. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. But we are going to be in Joburg for a gig. So on Saturday, it will be a rebroadcast of tonight. So welcome to the Saturday people. We love you very much. And thank you to Amovia for our internet as well. And of course, thank you to Fitch and Leeds. Thank you to Spa. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me what you're drinking. And I hope you're drinking a lot of it. Because the more you drink, the more fun we're going to have. All right. Welcome to Gino's Spot, ladies and gentlemen. We're talking about the press tonight. Oh, hey, oh, hey. Woo, yeah. Oh, hey. Nicholas Erasmus, that must be family. I make my living off the evening news and live in Erasmus in the blues. People love it when you lose. Shakespeare in London. Well, there's Michael Clement at home having warm milk. What? More milk? I hope you got some whiskey in. Sue Rhodes is there also. She shall be lost me first. All right. Kick him when they're up. Happy rats down. No one called third, so that counts. Yeah. Ashton Gardner, my kind of pasta. Woo! Oh! Jose Pereira says cheers, man. And Nicholas Erasmus says appetizer here. Put some gin in there, saying Sam Fender. Red wine in B2. She didn't say Gabriela, cause the click's too different. Shark K is in the water in Leominster. I like that cause I'm a Leo. Alright, Wendy Thompson. Hello. Is there anybody out there? Woo! Tell me what you're doing. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Gino's Spot indeed. Fantastic. A little bit of Don Henley stuff there. I love that song. In about 1982, I think it was 82 or 83. Best time for music that time, eh? Best time for music. From 1980 through to 84. I'm telling you that those songs are all still played today. Fantastic. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do is now we're going to do our sponsors, Fitch and Leeds. We're going to have a look at, they've got a new story on the go. Let's have a look and see what they've got to say.
Maurice Merlingson's mind swirled with ideas.
So, what's the story, Maurice?
But it was never the right time to share his work. The demand was only a distraction.
Darling, just share.
Dad, I have a story.
With innovation as his only destination, he set off for new discoveries, a land of uncharted stories. No idea was worth sharing until he had redefined perfection. But the perfect discovery had left him behind.
You look like you've been on a journey. So what's your story?
For exceptional ideas are meant to be shared.
Oh, very nice. I see they've got the little one. I think it's the 1 liter bottles that they got here. You see the 1 liter, we've got the little bit of sugar-free grapefruit, which is quite nice. It's sugar-free, so it doesn't give you a heart attack eventually, you know, and after all these years of sugar. So, if you want to cut down your sugar, it's a good one, and it makes your tongue and your taste buds go. That's right, baby. All right, so thank you very, very much for joining us on Gino's Spot tonight. And we have our special guest indeed, Mr. Andre Erasmus, all the way from over the seas. Hello, Andre.
Hi. How you doing?
Welcome. It's lovely to see your cheery face again, you know. It was such a part of the PE fibre for so many years, and we've missed you.
Yeah, I wonder what's in that glass you've got, because you haven't spoken a word of sense so far.
It's not my job to speak sense, you know. It's you newspaper guys have to.
We used to, yeah.
Indeed. Andre, well, fantastic to have you on the show.
Okay.
I mean, just tell everybody where you are at the moment and what you're busy with.
Okay, I live in a place called Beckenham, which is southeast of London. It has a fuel shortage like most of the southeast. It's famous for David Bowie, Enid Blyton, the Rolling Stones for a short time.
Enid Blyton?
Yeah, remember her? Yeah. She lived here, apparently, yes.
Okay.
And Jagger and Keith Richards lived somewhere in Beckenham for a short time, and Bowie was here for longer.
Oh, that's funny. Did you have an interview with Jagger?
I spoke to him on the internet, yeah, when he was
really?
Trying to help me cover cricket when South Africa were playing the West Indies. That was way back when Don Henley was writing songs.
Oh, right, yeah. I'm glad you liked that one.
Yes, nice.
Andre and Gino, Sean Coase says, I never speak sense. That's Sean Coase, of course, from Pop Shop days.
Yeah, I remember. Yes, you and your skateboard when you went and did the banking.
Rollerblades. I had rollerblades.
Yeah, okay.
Yes. It was at literally 3:25. I'd get the cash, you know, and I'd shoot out with those blades. Yeah. And I mean, sometimes I had a lot of cash in that bag, but nobody catch me with that.
Yep. And these days you can go into a bank with a mask on and nobody says a word.
You know, yeah, exactly. Everybody's got masks these days. It's like the guys that are unmasked that are you got to watch out for. What's it? Bronwyn Leashing says, "How's it?"
Oh yeah, hey Bron.
Who's Bron? Who's Bron? You better tell us who these people are commenting here as well.
Bronwyn Leashing.
A lot of people.
She's Mark Leashing's wife. They live in Texas in the States.
Yes, I know. Okay, I know Mark Leashing, of course. Jessica and Adi.
Yeah.
And Mark.
That's right.
80 sang for Benjamin Gate.
Yeah.
Benjamin Gate, and then she was in the movie. We watched the movie as well. I can't remember the movies, but Jeremy Camp's life.
Yeah.
She's married to Jeremy Camp.
Yeah.
Amazing, and it was a lovely story. It was very, very nice, and it felt quite nice and warm because I felt like I was part of something there.
Yeah.
Man, and so how many years have you been over there now, Andre?
21. We left South Africa on the 31st of December 2000.
Holy crap! Now I feel old. I really do feel old now.
Yeah. Anyway, 21 years. 21 years, yeah.
As a millennium. So it was the millennium that made you decide, okay, we've got to do this now.
Yeah, probably it was a whole bunch of things. I think the Evening Post closing was one of the things, and there was lots of other stuff, yeah.
Yeah. Did it close in 2001?
No, I closed at the end of, I think it was October 2000, around about there, yeah.
Okay, gee whiz, because I mean, it was such a part of everything, and it's amazing how something that can be so much part of the fiber can just sort of slowly disappear. You know,
yeah,
it's like
one day it's there, and next day it's gone. Yeah,
next day
had a good
gone.
headline. The last headline was the last post, which made a lot of sense.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so good. That is so good. And obviously, a team that you had there as well. You know that you got to know.
Mm. Well, yeah, my first job on newspapers was on the Evening Post in 1973. Then I worked for motor companies for a while. Then came back to PE, worked for the Herald. Then tried something else, and then joined the Post, and that's
while you're talking about, let's go back in history a little bit. We always start in the beginning. Where were you born? Where did you go to school?
Born in PE.
Okay.
Went to school at Grey.
Okay.
Some people say that probably changed me. I don't know.
Well, it didn't. I don't know if it changed Gary, but I wish it had.
Well, he could have been even worse. You never know. Yeah.
Okay, so grade junior and grade high.
Yeah, both of them. And then tried UPE, what was then called UPE for a while.
Yes, yes.
Discovered a card game called Bridge, which seemed far more interesting than studies.
Ooh,
Yep.
bridge. So you're a bridge player.
Yeah.
You know, my folks-in-law are big into their bridge, you know. Bobby Cheetham says, "What's with the grey hair?" Well, I think it's all the bridge, Bobby.
Yeah, but yeah, Bobby can talk. So bridge for a bit. That was the downfall. Then I had to pay back my loan. I was going to be a teacher, so I worked for Pelagos. Remember Pelagos?
Yes, with Tinny's dad, Mr. Smith. What was his name again?
I know. Way before that, when it was still owned by Natie Solomon and was in North End.
Oh, yes. Okay. Sean Coase will remember that because he knows all those Okies. Dave Sternberg used to work
That's it.
there, I think.
Yeah. He was Natie's son-in-law. Yeah, he took over.
Okay. Oh, the son-in-law. And Mr. Miller was of course, Mr. Miller was Strand Music House. Where
That's
he
right.
used to sell millions of pianos at that time, which also, just like the Weekend Post, sort of vanished into that. You know, nobody bought pianos anymore.
Yeah.
Who's that? Is that Jackie or Jock K or who's
that's
saying that you look
Jackie,
great?
short for Jacqueline. It's my stepdaughter.
Oh, Jacqueline.
Yeah.
You know, she's very rude, you know.
I'm going to see her in a week's time. She'll find out.
And I don't know who Happy Rads is, but he's saying be nice. Good.
Yeah, I'm always nice. Ask him.
Oh, good. Oh, man. And Nicholas, is that your brother?
Nicholas is my son. He's a drummer.
He's your son. Oh, okay.
He drums for High Water Bridge. You must have heard of High Water.
Oh, yes, of course. Okay, I'll have to meet him officially again, you know. I probably knew him when he was too young.
When he was a lighty, yeah.
Exactly, when he was a lighty. Well, here's Sean Coase saying, and I worked there in 80 and 81, he says.
Yep.
At Pelagos.
Yeah. The Pelagos Old Boys Club could be quite good.
Yeah, I tell you what. I mean, it was Pelagos, and of course, before it was, I don't know if Tempo was then around then as well.
Tempo was after. There was Bothner's.
That was the one. That was it.
And
A.H. Davidson. A.H. Davidson, Mr. Davidson was also. Arnold Davidson.
He was a rep, I think. Anyway, yeah.
Yes. I remember
He's in Canada, I think, or somewhere, yeah.
Okay. I see. Candice is feeling left out there. What do you mean, and me? I don't know what she's talking about there. Did she also work?
Candice is my Dr. Clark. She's my daughter. She lives in Port Elizabeth.
Oh,
yeah.
Dr. Clark as well. Oh, very nice.
Indeed. But not a medical doctor. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Not one of those.
I've got to say hello to the XP group. That's a Facebook thing.
Yes, Kat.
Yeah, you know, hundreds of expats are.
Okay, she's lovely.
And we keep in touch and reminisce and commiserate.
Yes, absolutely. She did.
Not bad,
we had her on just about a year ago, actually, for for my Kat did a drop in for my the haunted thing. It was for 31st of October, Halloween. Halloween, and she did a little drop in a story. But she sent me the outtakes, and they were much funnier than the story.
Yeah, they would.
So I think we must just play the outtakes this year. Oh my word! Boris has announced that SA is off the
yes, yeah. See, there's my wife stealing my thunder. I was going to announce that to you. I was going to do my Boris impersonation. But
do it! Well, I'm waiting.
Well, that's because I can't do it because we're going to do these things and we're going to that's it. And I've told you everything you need to know.
Right. Is he quick like that? You haven't got the hair though to match it. You need that hair.
Well, I don't need to cover a bald spot. I'm convinced that's what he does. But yeah,
I think so.
Keith Richards is going bald, by the way.
Keith? Oh, man. Eventually. He must be 115 already. You've got to go bald sometime. Holy moly. That's amazing. Okay, so Grey High School, UPE, did you do journalism there or did...
No, I was going to teach geography and or be a psychologist.
Oh, Oh,
Yes.
really?
And I didn't pass psychology, so I decided, and I didn't like geography, so I became a journalist.
I'm convinced that psychology students just do psychology so they can try and sort out their own hassles. Because I've yet to meet a psychologist who isn't bedorned.
Well, yeah, are you talking about Mrs. Hemmings?
Yeah, that too, yes.
Yes.
Gary's not shaking his head or anything. He's just keeping very, very quiet.
Yeah, my wife is also a psychologist, so I have to keep quiet.
See, there we go. You got to keep,
Yeah.
you got to keep it, yeah, because they know. The problem is that they read it. They read your mind, even if you don't try and tell them anything. Even if you keep quiet.
Yeah, even if you're not thinking, they read your mind.
Yes, exactly.
What you're thinking about? Nothing. No, you're not. And then they tell you what to do. Yeah.
You see. No, okay, so Andre, so after UPE and MU, how did you get into journalism then? From geography?
I didn't. I got tired of working for Pelagos. I didn't see that as a future. And I mean, you can only sell so many guitars before the on-the-go show, and then you've got a whole year of nothing.
Oh, you have nothing again. Yes.
I applied for a job at the Post, and I got it. I was actually selling a car. I had a Mini, a little yellow Mini 850.
A Mini.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
with the sliding window.
Somebody must tag Andrew Freeborn because he'll like you now that you've got a Mini. He was also on my show. He's a Mini fan.
Yeah,
absolute fanatic.
I don't have it. I don't even know who I sold it to. But I was selling that car while the editor of the Post was online waiting to speak to me. And yeah, and I came back. And I said, right, the car sold, hello. And he said, Sutherland here, would you like a job? So that was it.
Oh,
and that was
wow.
1973, I think, before lots of people were born. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Well, I was born. I was born then. I was already 3 years old, and I had my first job.
Yeah, probably.
No, so who's on your right that you keep looking at? Is that Lynn?
No, I'm just looking outside to see what the weather's doing.
Is it? I can tell you, it's crap because you're
No,
in
it's not
England.
actually. It's very pleasant. It's about 18, 19 degrees.
Lovely.
Slightly overcast. Yeah.
Lovely.
It doesn't always rain yet, you know.
Well, I don't know. Whenever I've been here, it's been raining.
Yeah, they all say that, yes.
Yes. No,
Yeah, some people call it Mud Island, like Piet van Niekerk thinks he lives on Mud Island. Yeah.
Piet van Niekerk as well. Oh, my word.
Yeah, he's just down the road. Yeah.
Oh, is he? So I mean, there's so many expats now overseas, and thank goodness for channels and stuff like this that we can still be in touch and see you. It's amazing to see your face again. I mean, it's just like brings back so many memories, you know.
Well, I hope they're good ones. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're all good, and it's okay. So you got into journalism just literally by getting a job. I mean, how did he know to phone you?
Well, I applied for a job. They were looking for a junior reporter, and I put in an application and got it. And I got the job without my dad knowing. He was working there at the time as the circulation manager. No, well, I didn't want him to know. You know,
nepotism. It could have been nepotism.
Yeah, whatever that means. I've asked the ANC. They know.
Yes,
anyway, then
we know all that.
Yeah. And I was sitting in the newsroom, and he walked past and said hello. And 2 days later, he walked past and said hello. And then on the third time he saw me, he said, "What you doing here?" I said, "I work here." Because in those days, we didn't get bylines on the first day. You did the vegetable prices and the weather report.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And did you do the swap column? Was so huge.
Yeah, that was big. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. I mean, if you think about the swap column in those days, everybody, the first thing you went and open the swap column, check what deals you can find.
Yeah, and there were
what crap you can buy.
On a Saturday, there would be people queuing outside the Evening Post, outside the Weekend Post. So like they queue here for petrol now, just waiting to get the paper so they can buy a pram or a cot or whatever they wanted. Yeah, for what have you? For what have you?
Yes, for what have you? That's the one.
Yeah, because you weren't allowed to sell things, you see.
Oh, I see. For what have you? How about some cash?
That's how it works. Yeah.
Oh, my word. And I mean, working at Pelagos, were you a muso as well?
Yeah, I play bass guitar.
I thought I was going to say bass because I seem to remember.
Yeah, that's one up from being a drummer, apparently.
It's the brother of the drummer. The brother.
That's it. We keep them sensible.
We keep them grounded as well, you know, because
that was my
full of
favorite
themselves.
Charlie Watts quote. Someone said to him,
Yes.
how do you keep time, you know, in the Stones? He said, you don't. We follow Keith Richards. Yeah.
My favorite from Charlie was, he reminds. I don't know if you follow Formula One at all.
Yeah.
Kimi Räikkönen and Charlie had a similar vibe, huh?
Yeah,
Kimi's got the
deadpan,
same thing, deadpan, and just tell it like it is. You know, don't know no rubbish. And my previous bass player, Mike McCauley, I'm sure you might remember.
Yeah,
Mike.
he lives in Cape Town now. Yeah.
Same thing. Kimi Räikkönen vibe, you know, straight down the line. Always the truth. The truth doesn't matter how hard it hits or who it hurts.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, no, Sean says you played on the go before you wrote the column.
Me? Once, yes.
Oh, is it?
What
What was the band called?
Versatile Creation. Creation spelled with the K. Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah.
Sneaky.
Gary Cunliffe was our drummer.
Oh, yeah, I know Gary Cunliffe.
You know, Gary, good drummer. He was 14 then.
Yes.
So we had to give him a drum solo. Yeah.
Oh, right. Left-handed drummer, eh?
Yeah, that's right.
Lefty.
Like Ringo Starr and Ian Pace, both left-handed.
Yes, yeah, lefties. And Ian Pace actually plays left. Ringo plays right. Which is
he
weird.
couldn't afford a left-hand drum kit.
Yeah, I don't think you even got them. I don't know. I suppose you just put the hi-hat on the other side, I suppose.
Yeah, that's what you do, yeah.
And Sam says, did the vegetable prices on my first day at the Herald too. Vegetable prices. And
if you got it wrong, there was hell to pay.
Oh, really? My word. Yeah. There's Fiona Gleason saying, how's it as well?
Oh, Fiona Gleason. She lives in Ireland.
Oh, she's in Ireland. Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Her
husband were here last weekend. They ran the London Marathon.
Oh, that's so cool. A friend of mine did the London Marathon. He ran it in 2 hours 44. How is that? Yeah, Gareth.
I think Fiona decided to take a gentle, slow look at London.
Oh, wow. Yeah, good. It's a better way to do it, I think. Mark Banks is saying, how's it there? Terry Herbst was the last person to see Ingrid Jonker alive, he says.
Thanks for knowing. Yeah.
Yes, Terry. And Terry, of course, would have worked with you as well?
Yeah, Terry Herbst and Donald Prosser, they had a lovely restaurant called the Sir Van Donkin.
Yes. I stayed opposite that. It's Adele and George bought that eventually, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Bought it from them. Yeah. Well, I think Adele was working there while they owned it.
Okay.
Because they had other jobs as journalists.
I wonder. I haven't actually looked them up. I'm gonna see what's happened there. I wonder because Roofan was like the place as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
I think it was the first place I knew in P that served pate.
Oh, really?
Or pate, if you didn't know how to pronounce it.
Yes, pate. No, it's lekker pate wat wij have there.
Yeah, pate as opposed to pate.
Chicken pate.
And one guy rocked up at this meal and he started eating it with his spoon. He didn't realize we were meant to spread it on Melba toast.
Yes, spread it on the Melba toast.
It was ever so posh.
Oh man, but Donald Prosser, what a legend, and R.I.P. both of them, Terry
and
Donald, and they stayed in Pearson Street opposite me. I was when I was in my 20s. We were in Pearson Street, and they were across the road there. But also did so many write-ups eventually, and so you obviously got into the arts through that as well. You enjoyed the art, the write-ups, and the stuff as well.
Yeah, yes. Music has always been my thing. Talking Terry Herbst and music, he did a review on Cliff Richard when Cliff Richard played. I think it was at Crusader Grounds or But Erasmus. I can't remember which one.
Yeah.
And in his review, he said how sad it was to see that Cliff Richard had to wear a hearing aid. He didn't realize it was the in-ear monitor. Yeah.
Oh dear. Because Terry didn't hold back as well. He'd give it hell if it was crap,
That's right. And he would always complain about microphone technique. He couldn't stand it if people breathed into the microphone. Yeah.
Oh dear. Oh man, I think he gave me some good ones. Ocean fish dish special today. Catch of the day is hepatitis, says Mark Banks. Catch of the day is hepatitis.
Yeah, you get that from a yellowfin.
Yeah, really. I mean, do you miss PE? Do you miss the old days?
Well,
You know,
yeah.
any
Well, we
memories at all?
haven't been able to get there for over 2 years now. But
Okay.
now that it's open, we'll probably come in this December. That's the plan.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Christmas
Excellent.
in PE, imagine that, for the first time in 21 years.
That'll be fantastic. That'll be fantastic. Well, let us know when you're around, and we'll get you in the studio as well for this one of these live.
Yeah, but I'll have to dye my hair first, apparently, I've been told.
Oh, so according to all your fans online.
Yeah, yes. Ex-fans.
Oh, man. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and I mean, so Weekend Post. It was right the way through. Then it was pretty much. Are there any favorite memories that you have of PE? There anything that you think of that's like you remember?
Oh, well, the most memorable things would be the things that were the toughest, like covering the Langa shootings, having the unrest towards the end of apartheid. That was pretty rubbish. I remember working when I was working for the Herald. All the other news editors got called up.
Yeah.
So I would go to work at 8 in the morning and then go home at about 10 at night.
Wow.
And I remember one, well, I can't remember what day it was, driving past Greenacres and seeing these blue lights behind me, and this car stopped. And it was one of the provincial cops who I happen to know. And he said, do you know you just went through a red light? And I said, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. And he said, but you work for the Herald, don't you? So I said, yeah. He says, I know where you live, I'll take you home. And he drove all the way in front of me.
Yeah.
With his lights going, and said,
okay. Well,
it was nice to have friends. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. If you know somebody, it was okay. And now I know that we've got a couple of surprises for you tonight, Andre. Let's give you the first surprise first of all. Hang on, let's see what Gary's got in line here.
Andre, I love surprises, and you used to love surprising us as reporters back at the Herald.
Gosh,
back in the 80s. Yeah, a different time then. We all had notebooks. We used to get into taxis to go to events. Yeah, we sometimes had to write our reports from wherever we were. I remember the paddle ski race from Port Elizabeth to East London, and then going to a tiki box in Hamburg and dictating the story to you. Yeah, you were a great news editor, and I'm glad we've been able to stay in touch all these years through Facebook. Yeah, wonderful memories from a different era. Thanks, Andre. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
A couple of little video from Debbie.
Derry,
She actually lives literally 500 meters up the road here, so she's right. I could shout at her from here, I'm sure. But she's.
Aren't they moving to Doha or somewhere?
They are. They've just sold up. We saw on the local WhatsApp group, that they're moving, and the new people have moved in, I think. But Debbie's been here for years, and obviously worked with you there at Evening Post.
Yeah. What we used to do, I don't know if you remember, Collegiate used to do carols in the Feather Market Hall.
Yes.
And our favorite job, new reporter, was when the girls were practicing for their Christmas carol service, they'd go in with a photographer, and the photographer would say to them after taking the picture, get the names and walk out. And Debbie was one of them, and then had to, and she actually started with the first girl and said, no, don't move, we've got to get. There were only like 300 names. We never used it.
Oh, jeez, yes, of course. But you had to ask all of them, otherwise they'd all feel left out. No.
Yeah.
Who were the photographers in your day, Andre, says Barbara?
There was Everett Smith, who looked a lot like Sir de Villiers Graaf, who used to be the head of the United Party. There was Jack Cooper, Colin Urquhart, Basil Hall, Mike Holmes, good photographer.
He's still going strong, eh?
Eugene Coetzee, who's still about. Yeah. I think Mike runs a butcher shop now, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
I buy some fantastic
And
meat
so,
from him.
yeah.
Yeah, all the game as well. He's got some lovely meat there. It's at the corner of 8th Avenue and Uke Road, I think. Is it?
Yeah, I think that's where it is. I haven't
Delhi
been there
or
for a
something?
while, but Westville, that's right.
It's
yeah.
Westville, Delhi. Yeah. It's lovely. Very nice little posse there. And I spot him every time I go in there. It's great. And like you said, there was a different time back then as well. So ticky boxes. I mean, ticky boxes.
Well, as Debbie said, or if you were a court reporter, you would sit around and you would work out what case you wanted to cover, then go across to the cafe and have breakfast, and then wait until 2 minutes before deadline and phone the dictate typist and give your story. That's what you had to do. Yeah.
Jeez,
None of this. And
yeah.
no, I was going to say, covering rugby, in the good old days when they played test rugby at the Erasmus Stadium, it would require 3 reporters just to get the film from the stadium back to the office where somebody else will process it, and then that reporter would have to take the film back to the stadium where there'd be a reporter waiting at the gate, who would then take it back to the photographer who was running up and down the side of the field and saying, "Who's that in -3?" You know?
Oh, no ways.
Because that's the picture they want. And then you'd go to the sport editor and say, that's, I don't know, Andre Erasmus for one of the yeah.
Donnie Gerber or something.
Yeah, remember him. Yeah.
Gee whiz. So I mean, it's amazing because the communication is just it's like catapulted now over the last 20 years. And so I mean that kind of thing had to be done. You had to actually physically drive there and go and take the thing and say, "What is this?" You know.
That's right. And what's more, some of those photographers were almost as fast as the rugby players because they would see like the ball's gone to the wing and they want to get the try, so they'd sprint up the side. They didn't have to dodge players and be waiting.
Waiting for the try. Holy moly. Yeah. She was. And so I think he's saying a little Sam Magella. I remember Sam well.
Yes, Sam. Yeah, we used to call him Beach Ball.
Yeah,
he was as tall as he was wide.
Yes, he was tall as he was wide. He was 4 foot and 4 foot wide. What a legend. I remember Sam well, absolutely. And I see Sean's she says he's going to catch the rerun. Well, Sean, we know where your priorities lie, Sean Ghost.
Yeah, that's right.
You can watch Saturday, that's fine. Because, of course, we're going to have the Saturday crowd as well. So hello to the Saturday crowd. Okay. We're going to rebroadcast on Saturday. But the timelines for the newspaper as well, that was a hell of a thing. Like you had to get it in. There was an early edition and a late edition.
Yeah. Well, if you were working for the Herald, you had 2 editions because the first one went out into the country when it used to be distributed all around the Eastern Province. And then for the Evening Post, there were also 2 deadlines. The first edition would also go into the country, but not as far. And the second edition was the one that had to be at the factories when the factories closed. Wow. So if you worked for the Evening Post, you started work at 7-ish in the morning and finished by 2:30. If you worked for the Herald, you would either do a 10 to 6 shift or 2 to 10 or whatever. And then there was the graveyard shift when you went in at 4 and worked until the paper was finished.
Holy moly.
That wasn't always
news
fun.
The night before.
Yeah, and Bobby Cheetham, who was on here, he used to be the night editor for the Herald, so he would have the final say. Well, sometimes.
My word.
Yeah.
That is so hectic. That's the times, and so much work had to go in, and it's such a rush. Those deadlines, like, oh my God, the newspaper's coming out in 10 minutes. You got it, like. I mean, how did they get it out so fast?
Yeah, well, just hold. Well, there's that famous hold the presser saying. That's happened once or twice. Then there were some Air Force jets crashed at the PE airport once. I can't remember. In the 80s, I think, in Impala. Yeah. And I was at home. I'd finished my day shift, and a reporter was sent to fetch me to come back to the office to do the story. And we had like 6 people covering this event. Debbie Derry was one of them. Colin Urquhart was one of the photographers. Yes. And I phoned the Army. Sorry?
Yeah, no, because those Impalas
were
quite
popular. I phoned
popular.
the Army PR. Yeah, they were. I think they were rubbish. But anyway, they probably got them from Italy.
They were Italian. They were Italian, Andre.
Yeah, they had Alfa Romeo engines. They used to stop regularly.
Exactly. They were so good. Beautiful planes.
Yeah.
So quite a few people covering that story and to get it back quick.
Yes, and then I phoned, because I got information from the people out in the field, and I phoned the Army PR in Pretoria, and I said, 2 of your planes have crashed in PE. And he says, no, they haven't. I said, yes, they have. I'm telling you about it. He didn't know.
My word.
Yeah, so we knew before them. Then I went down to EP Command, managed to get the names of the people, and phoned him back and said, now you must just tell us in your press release that this guy died and this guy's injured.
Okay. Okay. So this is what tell us this, and then we can pray. We can put in the press.
You had to have both sides of the story, which
yes, of course.
Yeah.
Oh my word! You said the '79 Grand Prix. Guess the news. Did you guess the news in 1979? Who won the Grand Prix?
No. What happened? There was Jody. No, when I was working for Ford,
Jody Scheckter.
Jody Scheckter was going to win the world championship, and because he was driving a Ford-powered car, we took a chance to put out a press release. Myself and Bob Kernahan, who was now also worked for the newspapers. In those days, you had to mail things. You couldn't email.
Yes,
so we sent this to get to people on the Monday after, the day after the Grand Prix. And if you didn't win, we had another one we sent out to say sorry about the mistake. But
fortunately, you won.
Yeah, and those were the days when he was driving a Tyrrell, had 6 wheels, 4 in front and 2 at the back. For some
two in 4 in front and 2 at the back. Yes. It was amazing. And small little wheels.
Yeah,
that's
right.
In the front, and those, that was an amazing car. And of course, I mean, we did an interview with the Scribantes a little while ago, and of course they actually had teams with Bobby Charlton racing F1 cars that they'd provided. Aldo Scribante bought those Lotus cars, and I think they had the McLarens as well at one stage. And so during that time, I think it was McLarens that they were running. Incredible cars, and it was, like you said, Cosworth engines. The Ford
Cosworth
engines.
Mason things,
Yeah, and a huge engine, and so beautiful. Those cars were beautiful. These days, the V6, come on. I mean, it just doesn't sound the
same.
Yeah. God, the V8s are going to be way better, and the V12s and the V10s, obviously. But that's another whole story. Story. All right, I've got another little surprise for you, Andre. Let's have a look. Okay. Let's see who's coming on next.
Okay. It's good to make contact. I hope you and Lynn are well. Things are going well in the UK, despite the Brexit fallout, long fuel lines, dwindling food supplies, and the rest. Andre and I share a birthday, April the 8th.
Yeah.
But of course, I'm several years younger. I've actually known Andre since I was a child, as he and my brother Jonathan were at school together at Grey, and I was the little sister tagging along to school events. I don't think Andre was on the Herald when I joined the Evening Post in 1978, but he soon came back to be news editor. Andre, like all old school journalists, could write about anything, though music, films, and sport were his particular forte. In those years, the Evening Post and the Herald were entirely separate. You kind of glimpsed the staff of the other newspaper in the passages or in the canteen. Later, Andre joined the Evening Post as assistant editor and was there at that very last day when the paper was closed in 2000. In 1995, on the day before the World Cup final, Andre came around with a list for a rugby sweep. I was chief subbing the Evening Post, and it was just near deadline. I was really busy, and I couldn't even think of what a possible final score would be. So I just said, just write down 15-12. And of course, who won the sweep? The closure of the Evening Post meant a change in the lives of every one of us. I went over to the Herald, and Andre and Lynn decided to immigrate and start a new life in the UK, for which I admired them greatly. It was a brave move. So Andre, wish you all the best, and regards to Lynn, keep well. Bye now.
There's such a beautiful story out of that. The last issue of the Post.
Yes.
One of the sports reporters, Andrew Holloway, had missed the second last edition. Sorry, he'd missed a score. He had to put the scores in, and he said, "As if in usual, that hasn't arrived," and that went all the way through and appeared in the newspaper. So Susan called us all together and said, "How can that happen?" So Andrew said, "Well, we can apologize in tomorrow's edition because there wasn't one."
There wasn't another one. Classic. Oh man, those newspapers must be worth a fortune if you got something. If you got one.
Because those were the days of line-up type, where people had to use letters the wrong way around and put the newspaper together. And there were lots of favorite mistakes that people would make, like suitcase, the U would become an H, you know, and stuff like that. It was good fun.
Because nobody would see it the wrong way around.
Yeah, and then when it did come out, you'd get people trying to get them from the newspaper vendors, you know. You've got to take that back, there's a mistake in it.
Yes, you got to go take it back. Yes, Bronwyn's ask Andre to tell us a joke. Tell us about his book, Real Change. The book, you've written a book.
Yeah. Well, they say everyone has a book in them. I don't anymore because I wrote it. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to do a second one. Real Change is about the Langa shooting. It's based on life in South Africa at the time, in the 1985, I think it was.
Yeah, yeah.
22nd of March, when the police shot 22 people dead outside Uitenhage and then claimed they were attacked by these hordes of people carrying stones, yeah. Anyway, so it's based around that, yeah.
I mean, it must have been quite tough. It must have been quite tough that holds that time, you know, because you're seeing the real story out there. You know, it's not just propaganda. That you were out there on the front line.
Yeah, that's right. And then again, using ticket boxes because you didn't have mobile phones or cell phones, so you would hope that the photographer was out in Langa would phone you because you wanted him to go somewhere else.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
That type of stuff. Yeah.
When was the book published? Your book?
About 3 years ago. It's on Amazon if you want it. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
In fact, you can read it for free.
Oh, really?
Yeah. On Amazon. Yeah.
Oh,
just look up Real Change, but there's a whole lot of real changes. Some are written by politicians, but mine is the real change.
Okay, real change by Andre Erasmus. We have to get that one.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah.
And your new book, what's the new one now?
It's going to be.
You got one in you. You've got another one.
No. Well, because I'm bipolar, I've got 2 books in me.
Oh, there we go.
This one's going to be a follow-up to that story, but about gun running and how the IRA helped South Africa provide weapons. I'm making it up as I go along.
Yeah. Okay. So it's it's fiction.
Yeah. Well, fiction based on facts, I guess.
Yes, but always based on experience because it makes it more real if you do that as well.
Yeah, it gives it a bit of credibility. Yeah,
it does. Let's see. I've got. Gary's asking me a question here. What are you doing at the moment? And since you moved to the UK, I mean, so you literally the Weekend Post closed and you decided this is the moment. Are we going? You know,
it was interesting because it closed in October. We weren't expecting it. Well, we knew it was on its last legs, but we thought it would last a while. Lynn and I decided we were going to move to the UK. I was going to hand in my notice the day after I got my bonus, because if you hand in your notice first, you don't get the bonus.
Right.
The bonus day never happened because the paper closed. So I spent the last few weeks working for for EP newspapers, trying to sort out who got made redundant and who didn't. I was on a committee, so you'd fight for people's jobs. And then we just decided to quit. So we left, came here. The dullest flight ever on Old Year's Eve. You thought it would be a party. Everybody went to bed, including the pilot, I think. Anyway.
That was Y2K. That was 2000.
No, it was after Y2K plus 1. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So 2002.
No, Y2K was 99 to 2000 would have been the turn of the millennium, according to mathematicians.
Yes.
Anyway, so we came here.
Yes.
Worked for a local newspaper, then got onto some magazines. I almost traveled the world writing about potatoes and bread.
Really?
Go figure. Yeah.
My word.
Yeah.
So, I mean, did you land in a job straight away over there, or did you?
No,
Did you wait around?
we got here on the 1st of January,
Okay.
and it was cold. It actually snowed. Lynn had enrolled with a teaching agency, but didn't like any of the schools that they offered it. Well, she went to one or two. I applied for a job for a local free sheet, kind of like Southeast London's answer to the Algoa Express or Algoa Sun.
The Sun, yes, yeah.
Yeah, worked there for a while and then moved to another job running a whole group of free papers for the Mirror, Trinity Mirror. And then some guy came to me and said, I'd like you to write these magazines for me. So I did, and did that for a few years until that collapsed. And then since then, I've been in semi-retirement, I guess.
All right.
Because if you say you're retired, people think you're rich, so I'm not. So I'm semi-retired.
No, yes, semi-retired. You'll take any jobs that are going.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Oh, and I mean, any blogging, anything
online
stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, I do lots of blogs about music because music's my thing. So I've done about 24 or 25, which someone suggested I should put together in a book. I might do that one day.
Okay, yes. I mean, well, that's what Hagen Engler did in the end, isn't it? And he didn't blogs, but he wrote his short little things, and eventually put them together in a fantastic book. So, that is so. There's another book in you yet, Andre Erasmus.
Yeah. Look at that.
Yeah, there we go. Oh man! And I just want to touch on quickly while I'm looking at this, the picture in the background there. We chatted just before. I love that story. Nachtmusik, is that the one?
Yeah, no, it's Nachtmusik. I got it from that art shop. Used to be in Walmart near 6th Avenue or 8th Avenue.
Fordhouse Road, still there. 5th Avenue,
still
5th
there.
Avenue, still there.
Yeah.
Still there. Fordhouse Road, 5th Avenue.
Yeah, and I bought that because Nachtmusik was the drink, the chocolate liqueur that myself and Lynn liked, and that's how we kind of got to know each other, sharing some Nachtmusik. So we saw that and bought that. So that's been a pleasant memory for us. Apparently, Nachtmusik was written by some guy named Mozart, who I think was a keyboard player for AC/DC. Yeah.
Yes, I think he was. Yes, a keyboard player
maybe
for
Scorpion,
AC/DC.
because they were German. Yeah.
Yeah. It would have been the Scorpions. Beverly Erickson saying, how's it? Hello, Andre. Always enjoyed dealing with you at the Evening Post. Bev at NMU as well now as well. Margie Gush. Oh, Margie Ford. How she wants to know how you guys are doing.
We find it.
Rob and Margie, and Rob Gush, Margie's husband, of course, was one of the first guys that really got me into music as well, because he was such a fantastic. If Rob was at the party, then there was a guitar and there were piano. You could play piano and he'd sing, and those times are amazing when you're playing as a musician and you're playing with friends and family and making a party happen. I mean, everybody's chilling and Netflixing these days. You don't get this stuff anymore.
Yeah, you're right. But those used to be fun days. And the best part about music is the jam you do before you play the song.
Yeah.
Because there's a lovely little bit of magic that'll never happen again. Because after that, it's got to be C, A minor, F, G, or whatever.
Yeah, and it starts. So it's the little thing before you start, the little intro and the vibe. I see Catherine says sounds like South Africans on here. It does.
Yeah.
Well,
I haven't said how's it, or is it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. If you just say Hasik, it's be fine. What is that? What is that surname? That looks like there's something out of. Is it also German? I don't know. What is that Hasik? Yeah, come on, tell us, Catherine. Where's that? Who did you marry, Catherine? There we go. All right, we've got another surprise here coming. Let's get into the next one.
I enjoy the surprises. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Okay, hang 5.
Yeah.
We've got it here.
1, 2.
There we go. All right.
I used to work with Andre Erasmus at the Herald in Port Elizabeth. I was chief sub and night editor, and Andre was news editor of the Herald, and also he worked on the Weekend Post. We had a very interesting time together. I don't know if you can remember Andre the troubles that we went through during the great lockdown of newspapers and all that, where we weren't allowed to publish certain information. We had to get permission from the police and the security police to publish certain articles. We had to send them the articles first, and then they had to approve them and all that sort of stuff. So it was a very trying time for us. A lot of people couldn't handle the pressure. There was a lot of people with mental fatigue from that. And yeah, it was a great time. I must say it was very stressful, but at the time we were going through great change in South Africa, and thank goodness most of us managed to survive. There were other journalists who didn't, and they were actually locked away. Nobody knew they were locked away. Even their wives didn't know where they were when they used to come at all times of the day and night and arrest you. Yeah, as I said, it was very interesting but very stressful times. And Andre, I don't know if you remember the Craddock Fall. That was one of the very stressful times for all of us in the newspaper, especially at the Herald. And then there was also people that just disappeared off the face of the earth, and they were never seen again. And yeah, as I say, it was very stressful times. And then also at the Herald, we had people that worked with us were in fact working for the security police. So everything that we were planning to put in the paper the next day, they knew about the hours before we published the paper. And of course they could, if they wanted to, stop the publication of the newspaper. But thank goodness it didn't happen to us, but it happened to many other newspapers in Johannesburg. Andre was an absolute star as news editor. Many people respected him for what he was doing, because his job was very, very difficult for him. He had to choose between what to publish and what not to publish. And some of the time he decided to take a chance and push the boundaries, push the envelope. And thank goodness we got away with it. Yeah, Andre, as I said, has a great sense of humor. And times were tough at the newspaper, but Andre always managed to crack a smile amongst us and all that sort of stuff. And we always had well, I wouldn't say Andre had, but I had a bottle of whiskey in my bottom drawer. And after work of a night, just to relieve the pressure, we used to have a dop or two. And sometimes we used to finish publishing the paper at about 2 o'clock in the morning. And there were many a time when the sun was rising and we left work to go home. Andre, to you and Lynn, I wish you the very best, and keep in contact, and as I say, all the best to you and the family over in England. Thanks, Andre. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Oh, he seems like a legend.
This is like a eulogy. I feel like I should be dead.
You're not dead yet,
No,
Erasmus.
working on it, yeah. Interesting that I mentioned Bobby, and that thing he was talking about the Craddock Fall, which was an incredibly stressful time.
Yes.
That's in the book that Bronwyn said I must mention. So that's the last and final plug for the book.
Well, no, it's fine. You can plug it as much as you like. It's fine. You know, it's incredible because, like he's talking about, those guys that were basically on the payroll. So, you know, they know what was going on.
And you could never work out who it was. You'd always suspect certain people, but you couldn't prove it. Yeah.
You'd hire them, but then they'd be paid by the security police as well.
Well, yeah, you'd hire somebody because he was a good photographer or a good reporter.
Yes.
And then I was approached by the security police who offered to pay my mortgage for my bond for me.
Oh, really?
If I gave them info. Yeah, that type of stuff used to happen all the time. Well, not all the time. And then if you were radically left-wing, they would then try and sort you out as well, and just harass people the whole time.
Wow.
So it was interesting. Mm.
Yeah, that is so. It's just a different time and a different place. So how do we know for sure that you weren't one of them? How do you know?
I suppose I could, if this was America, I could plead the Fifth Amendment, but
all right.
I think people who know me would know. So
yes, absolutely. No,
I wasn't. Yes.
Yes. And Lucille Parker says, I worked at the Herald with Andre Erasmus, and great days they were, enjoying this immensely. Lucille, she could have been one of them, you never know, Lucille.
Lucille lives in Frome in Somerset, which, if you like Formula One, was the home of one Button.
Jensen Button.
Button.
He's still doing a bit of commentating. I like Jensen.
Yeah,
I do.
He's on the button, yeah.
Oh, excellent, Lucille. Just saying, numbers isn't maths. If even I know that says happy rads. He's talking about my maths. Yeah. No, like I said, different times. So I mean, at that time, like he said, journalists were disappearing. If you were left on the left side, and there were guys who were harassing you.
And it happened. Well, not too much on our side. There were people who would disappear for a while. They had this horrible law where you could go to jail for 180 days under Section 205, I think it was called, if you didn't give the government the information they thought you had. And
so state of emergency stuff.
Yeah, and you weren't allowed to put white spaces in the newspaper. If you had a story where so-and-so said this happened, and you left a gap and you say, and that's what the government said, that became illegal. So you had to get a quote from them that was carry the same space as the fact. And as a journalist, you weren't allowed to witness an incident of unrest.
Oh, you weren't allowed to?
No.
But you certainly did.
Of course you did, yeah. But then you couldn't say what you saw. You had to get someone else to tell you what you saw so you could write about what they saw.
Oh my word! So literally, I mean, you had to clear everything with security police before you actually put it in the paper.
Security police became, from that point of view, almost our best friends because you spoke to them so often.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure.
And then you'd phone, like if you're working for the Herald, as Bobby said, you'd phone at 5 to 11 in the evening and say, "We need a comment from you by 1:15, please, because deadline's at 11:30."
Yeah. And also what to print and what not to print. I mean, you basically had the hammer there. You for a while there. You were the guy that was putting it out there. Were you not in danger at any time?
Yeah, probably. But it's I don't know. If other people disappeared, how come we didn't? I remember going to court because they wanted us to give some information, and we got off on a grammatical error in the summons that they gave us.
Wow! Holy crap! I mean, were there any guys that were involved with security police, or those guys that you felt were conflicted about their role, that they were possibly at odds?
You mean guys within the security police?
Yeah, like guys you were talking to. I mean,
there were quite a few who probably thought when they got into that it was okay, and then realized the error of their ways, possibly, and then changed jobs or got out as soon as they could. Some of them were actually very nice people. Some of them had this agenda that you couldn't believe there were people like that. Yeah.
Because you think about it, I mean, all of us were conscripted. We were told we had to go and fight against the Cubans. We had to go and fight in Angola. I mean, and you realize now that it was just futile and it was wrong. And so it's all that. When you are forced to do something, how do you get out of it? How do you not do it? How are you conflicted in your head? It's crazy times.
Well, and I think that's how some people got into the police force, because it was an easier option than going to the border.
Yes.
And if you joined the police, they would pay for your studies and stuff so you could study and become higher up the ranks. Whereas we, as unsuspecting young people, went to the army. And the only way you could get out was to be a conscientious objector. And if you were a conscientious objector, you'd go to jail. Other way you could get out was to declare yourself gay, but then you would go to jail. So
as well.
So I'm sure that when conscientious objectors got to jail, the rest of the guys were told he's gay as well, and then you see what happened. So you just went to the army and did what you had to do.
Jeez, Okay, we've got another surprise. Here we go. Here's another one.
Where in the world are you? I think of you so often in those busy days we had on the Herald and the Evening Post fighting the fighter. I'm sure you remember them so well. I'll always remember your excellent sense of humour, love of art and music, and the mischief you could get up to sometimes. For those who don't know me, I'm Candido. I was on the Herald and Post. I was news editor on the Herald for many years. I knew so many people. Today I no longer watch the obituary notice because most of them have gone. But it was such fun. It was a part of my life I will never forget, and the people that I worked with. Andre, you were always perceived with the greatest respect. You were always polite, always considerate, despite your sense of humour, and people found it very easy and pleasant to work with you. And Andre, I wish I could recollect all the things that happened in our lifetime. There were so many. But I'm now 80 years old, and the memory shows that. So I'm quite sure you will remember many of the things that I have forgotten. Andre, when I think of the standard of newspapers in our day, the sub-editors, the work they do, and I see what is printed today, I don't even want to read it. I hope you and Lynn are still having a fabulous time, and I wish you everything of the best for the future.
Shame she is.
Gosh, there are so many stories.
I just want to go and hug her.
Yeah, she's cool. Yeah, Pat Candido. Her maiden name was Trollope, but she said she wasn't. Yeah.
Is she part of the famous Trollops then?
I think she was. I don't know. She was very good at holding her liquor. I must say that, because when you worked for the Evening Post in the good old days, you could go have tea at 10 o'clock at the Markham Hotel, which would normally be a Castle or Lion Lager.
Just up the road. Yes.
Yeah. And
around the corner.
She would be there with the boys and keep in pace. Very good journalist. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's amazing. So she was news editor.
Sometime after me. When I was a reporter on the Post, she was a senior reporter. Then I moved away, and when I came back, she was, I can't remember what, but she did end up being a news editor somewhere along the line.
Okay. Oh, magic. No, I just feel like going to hug her. That is so true what she says. Journalism used to be a respected profession, but sadly no more. It's all fake news. And that's the problem these days. It's like
social
so
media.
Much information from so many different sources.
True. Huh? Yeah. Because then in those days, in the good old days, which I said I'd never say, you had to prove that what you had was correct. Now, someone sends you a video clip of a bomb going off and says this happened in Beirut, and you say, yes, it did, because because you've got all these deadlines you have to meet, and you'd only be outdone by social media, I guess, if you work for a newspaper now. So, and standards have plummeted, because I remember the ANC having a press conference in Port Elizabeth and calling a bunch of journalists together, including the late, great Patrick Cull, and saying, how do we do this? And we said, how do you what? And they said, how do we tell you in advance what we're going to do? Because we never used to do that. We'd claim it afterwards. And they wanted to start the electioneering, and they had no idea how to go about it.
Yeah. Gee, so that they needed your help.
Yeah. And we said to them then, the newspaper's job is to be the watchdog of society. So if you become in charge and you screw up, we're going to complain about it. And then they got upset. Imagine how upset they'd be now.
I know. I see Val Green saying hello as well. She's also online.
Val,
Here we go. But you're so right about that. The watchdog of society. It used to be. That's what it used to be. But the problem now is that there's just so much out there, and there's so many rabbit holes that you go in. And like they're talking about this whole Facebook story. I mean, what's your take on this whole thing?
Well, yeah, you see, I don't think social media is great if you're an expat and you want to keep in touch with family and friends. But the news you get on Facebook, bad news sells, all right? That was always the thing with newspapers.
Yes.
If somebody turned 100, that would be somewhere in the paper. If someone died at 99, that would be a bigger story. And then the trouble with Facebook and other social media is it's the bad news stories that you read about. So if I look at the XPE Facebook group, which I'm on, most people, the idea of the thing is to remember the good old days, but everybody's complaining about how things are now because the standards aren't what they used to be, you know.
Yes.
And that, I think, is the trouble with social media. It tarnishes everything.
It does, and you know, it's so difficult to get that positive feel through, you know, because everybody's got a bite on it. If you want that positive movement, you've got to, and this is pretty much what this show has been about. It's about moving forward, man, looking forward. Don't worry about what has happened now. We've had this moment of COVID and all this shite that's happened over the last 2 years, and nobody's been more hit than the musos and the entertainment. We've got to stand up and go forward and look forward, because if you keep on looking back as well, it's lovely to look back at memories and lovely memories, but you can't always look at the potholes are so bad and the governing is so bad. We've got to make it better from now. That's what we've got to do.
Exactly. I mean, hopefully everybody learns from their mistakes and tries to make things better. And if you have to be positive. There's no point in going down with the ship, for instance.
I do believe that everybody, as human beings, I do believe that we want to go. Obviously, we want good. We want our lives to be better. So, in order to do that, we all have to be positive. We have to move forward.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, otherwise, you're just going to stagnate and become like the rest of them. The them, us, and them thing. Yeah.
Yes, them. Yes. Anthony Jennings saying, "How's it nice to hear from you?" Anthony
was nice to Anthony. Hi.
Yes, lovely. And Aubrey Coldry, I don't know Aubrey, but Andre, many happy memories.
Aubrey used to be the boss of Stead in PE.
Oh, right.
And they used to give us movie previews. They had a little exclusive theatre at the bottom of Albany Road, and all the movie writers would go along and have a dog with them, and some biltong and watch a movie, which was good.
At the bottom of Albany Road.
Yeah, where BM Cotton is or used to be.
That little building there. The jewelry place used to be there.
Yeah, that's right. They had a little preview theatre there, which was very cool. Felt very posh.
Oh, no ways. Oh, very cool. Very cool. It's not so much that there's so much going on. It's that they take the money in to spread lies or hide the truth. It's time they start arresting the reporters who keep the masses uninformed or misinformed. It's so difficult because the press is the news is now coming so fast. You know, so it's,
the trouble too, I think, is I saw what she wrote there. I don't think the papers are impartial anymore. I think they all have agendas that they work to.
Yeah,
and that's not only in South Africa. That's probably global.
Sure.
I think
I suppose it was.
Yeah.
But was it not always the case? I mean, which newspapers were left-wing and which newspapers were right-wing at the time, you know? At that time even.
Yeah. And the obvious thought was that the Afrikaans papers were right-wing and the English papers were left-wing, which wasn't always the case. There were some people on the Oortelig, like Piet van Niekerk, who fought for what they believed was the right thing. And the Evening Post fought for the liberation of the black folk. And then when that happened, when democracy happened, the Evening Post died, which was kind of weird. But
yes, I know. After all that work, our work is now done. You know.
Yeah, that's it. Move on. Yes. So we did. Yeah.
But I mean, personally for you, Andre, I mean, how much of your identity is now British, and how much are you still South African? I mean, do you feel that is it home now?
Yes, I've been here 21 years. If England plays South Africa at rugby, I'll support England.
Damn you, Erasmus! Damn you!
And well, you got to. I mean, these guys have given me a home, so
Yes.
I've got to support them.
I'll give you that. That's fine.
But yeah, I do
should
miss.
really
There are
inside-
things you miss about South Africa, and well, Africa's in your blood. Lots of people say, and so I'm probably African, but I'm now a British African. I do have a British passport. My South African passport's expired, and I can't get it renewed.
Expired.
Yeah.
Oh my word! I'll put in a good word for you. You know.
With Mr. Fitch or Mr. Leeds.
I'll speak to Mr. Fitch and see what he has to say.
Right.
Paula Brazali, Paula and Ernie, she says the man that was a real good old day. So, so not like staying at home and watching Netflix. You're right. You're right. Like, going out to the movies as well, I suppose.
Yeah.
Paula was at VP with us as well. She was a VP girl as well. You were great. You were Grey Boy, though, eh?
Grey Boy. Lynn taught at VP for a while.
Oh. Okay.
I remember Peter Holloway very fondly.
Yes, but no, was Lynn there when I was there then?
Nah.
Possibly. No, I don't think so.
No.
Peter Holloway was probably after I left.
Yeah,
in the
late
early
90s.
90s.
Yeah. In the 90s it would have been, yes.
Yes. Dear Lord, now I'm going to have 30 minutes of complaining about supporting UK rugby from the team up from upstairs. Honestly, surely when they play other people, though, then you support South Africa. It's like when we play Oz.
That's true, yes.
Then you go Booker. But England, then you're conflicted. I won't say that you can support them, because I can't believe that. You're still conflicted, but you'll say that you support them.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if South Africa play New Zealand, I'd like South Africa to win. But after all, the South African captain's an old grey, so hey, got to get that in.
Oh, he's our man. It's all from Glebecha now, hey? Glebecha. Anthony Jennings saying, do a profile of your favorite 70s album. That's a good idea, Anthony. Tell us about what was the first album that you ever bought, Andre?
Would you believe Herman's Hermits?
Oh, I might have guessed that. Late 60s?
Yeah, and because it had Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter on it, which is probably the crappiest song of all time. And then I discovered the Rolling Stones.
Oh, yeah. Okay, the Bad Boys of Rock and Roll. Got to do it.
Oh, actually, the good, and they're still going. Well, what's left of them, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. I see Peter Swart saying hello here as well. I've got.
Oh yes, I remember Peter. Yeah.
Peter's from he's in Riebeek Kasteel now, I believe.
Somewhere in the Western Cape, yeah.
Yes, Peter. We'll have to have you on sometime as well. We'll talk about your shenanigans.
You would have lots of stories working for the tertiary education. Yeah.
Yes. What was it? Technikon? It was
Technikon, and then didn't they amalgamate with UPE?
Yes, I think they did the amalgamation. Yeah. I can't remember if Peter was. He must have been there at that time too. And Lynn's saying not that old. Not that old.
not that old that she could have taught you. Yes.
Oh no! Oh, really, Lynn? No, I was 88 matric, so it was before her time. It was just before the. And so I mean, it's crazy to think that as a South African as well, you've kept your accent. You haven't got one iota of an English accent there.
Well, funny that, because some people, Lynn, who was born in England, some people think she's more South African than I am. Because she says "ya" a lot, and she says "cool drink" instead of "soft drink."
But is quite posh, isn't it?
Yeah, if you ask her to do something, she'll do it now or just now.
Oh yeah, there we go. Because "ya" is quite posh to say "ya."
"Ya."
If you say "ya."
It is. Yeah.
It is. So Peter's working at Stellenbosch Uni now. Fantastic.
Oh, okay.
No, we'll definitely have to have you on as well, Peter. We'll get in touch sometime. We've got to have you on. Bring the Bergies. We're calling ourselves Bergies now, Andre, from Glebecha.
Yeah.
All right.
How did that come about? Yeah.
I don't know. We're going to make it a thing. We're going to make it a thing. We've got another surprise for you. Here we go.
Okay.
Very, very interesting. This after so many years. And I can still remember that when you left us at the Herald and to go overseas. In those days, it was quite a mission moving. I know you were under very much pressure in the job as news editor. It was a demanding position, and at the newspaper, you must know your readers and what they want. And that was one strong point of yours, getting the news in that our readers wanted. You were obviously also in charge of the photographers who played a major role in getting the news in. For those who obviously don't know me, and there are probably very many, I was heavily involved in sport in Port Elizabeth, coached the EP rugby team, and also was sports editor for many years. At the Herald, 36 years before I retired. In plain English, it was in apartheid years when, it was a dominance. We did have two sections where people of color gave their stories, and so it was a difficult balance for a news editor, which he was, to sort of control. We also had a very demanding editor who knew what the readers wanted, and Andre had to hear from his side, and then also all the reporters under him, he had to give them different things to do. So his position was very vital in the build-up for the newspaper. Andre was, can't say that he was a people's man, but to be a news editor, you had to be able to work with people and also get the best out of them. I think, and he succeeded to a certain degree, because the reporters under him did very good jobs, but it depends on the news editor to ensure that he gets the right person for the right job. And I think that was one of his strong points. Andre, I wish you the very best, and your family, that you even go stronger and further in your life.
Stan Terblanche. Tell me about Stan.
Stan the man. He used to play scrum half for EP. I think he was one of the first guys to play rugby with contact lenses. And if I remember correctly, this could be legend. He lost a contact lens on the field, and the whole game stopped, and all these guys were looking for this little piece of plastic so he could play on. Yeah.
He could only see with one eye. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
No.
Good guy, Stan. Yeah.
And I was he talking about Rick Wilson?
Not too many people. Before Rick was Derek Smith, and Derek Smith was more. Derek Smith, Rick wanted to turn the Herald into like a tabloid paper, like the Sun is in this country.
Yeah.
He wanted more shock horror things. So, you're talking shock horror. He wanted headlines to be shock horror. And we found a story where some guy was electrocuted, going fishing near the Dolosa, and the headline was shock horror, because that's what happened. The guy behind him saw him get shot to death. Yeah.
And he got horror. Oh my word! Jeez, like that is so hectic with his fishing rod. Oh no, that's just terrible, man.
Yeah. So Rick Wilson would have appreciated that. Derek Smith would have had a more sedate headline. Yeah.
I see shock horror indeed. Oh my word! Because I know Gary was talking about Rick.
Yes.
At one, he was in the office because Centre Stage used to get a lot of lot of coverage, and kudos to Rick for giving us that opportunity. But the one time he was in the office with you guys, and Rick was crapping all over everybody because Centre Stage had 3 stories in the one paper, in different sections. In about the same show.
Yes, that's right. And then Rick would get all annoyed because Gary was getting free publicity and Ster-Kinekor had to pay for their little slot that said the latest James Bond movie is coming or whatever it was. But the difference was Gary was promoting local talent or promoting talent locally.
Yes,
and that was what we picked up on and saw as the good side to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that, Andre.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so funny though. But when Gary's actually there and he's crapping on everyone about don't give it to him. A shock horror. We used to make up headlines using as many shock horror type words in one sentence as possible.
Yeah.
Oh, classic. Oh man, I see Alec Riddle saying hello as well. He's another sportsman. We've had him on
yeah,
too.
I remember Alec, yeah.
Supported many of us in our early sporting days. Of course, Alec was running with those guys, Johan Fourie and those, Bruce Fordyce and those guys that were running at that time as well, the Comrades guys. And that was also, did you get involved in the sport as well?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, I kind of got involved in promotions. And for instance, talking about Alec Riddle and Johan Fourie, the Herald used to do a thing called the Street Mile. I don't know if you remember that. The Main Street Mile that would run from Albany Road to the City Hall or whatever it was.
Wow.
And there was a guy named, I think it was Garnet Cantor, who owned the Seaview Game Park. And he had this tame leopard. And we wanted to get the picture of this leopard chasing Johan Fourie down what was then called
cheetah.
Called Main Street. The point was that even Johan Fourie could beat a cheetah. Anyway, so Cantor rocked up with his Cortina station wagon with a cheetah in the back. And we were busy setting up this picture. Yeah, and we were busy setting up this picture, and some guys walked past and saw this cheetah in the car, and there's this huge pandemonium going on behind us. And we didn't know what the fuss was because it was a tame cheetah. Anyway, it made a great photograph.
I'm sure. Oh, my word. All right, we got another surprise for you. Here we go. Come on, we got some here. Going on.
Yeah, I was surprised at talking to Andre Erasmus at this distance and after this time. But we were together for quite a while at the Evening Post and then at the Herald, which is, from 2007 when I retired. And he was quite a guy. Because he sort of took over from me when I was unable to do the job, if I was away for a weekend or something like that. And we worked quite closely together. And the thing I remember about him was how fast he was. He was twice as fast as I. I would say that you were an all-rounder. You could handle anything on the job, and that was rare in any journalist. Whereas I was especially a showsman, you could do anything. For example, when Cliff Richards came out and there was a concert in the park, we went to the meet him at the airport, and you actually did the interview, not me, which was the thing you wanted to do. So you could do it, And what have you been doing with yourself, Are you still in writing game, or you with a newspaper, or with a firm like that? And I'd like to know, because that's the sort of thing that interests me. And you'd like to know that we still have Showtime on the go, which is after 30 years, it's still going. And I remember you as having a very fast brain, because when you took over from me, you did it like a bomb, And it just shaped all of a sudden, And but of course, it wasn't as neat as me, certainly not. But nobody had a brain like mine, so that's the main thing about it.
Yeah,
we really miss you in the office time, because when I go in, which isn't very often these days,
You're not there. And you were there for so many years. And I hope you're well. I hope the family is well, because they're bigger now. And I hope your wife is well.
Show him, Bob.
Where did you find these guys?
You know, Gary's been on a mission today. He's been out and about.
Wow, well done, Gary. Yeah.
Oh no, I think he was on a full-on mission. I didn't hear from him today at all, so I know that he was out and about doing stuff. So I presume he got all these guys in, and you know, Bob is still Showtime. He's still going as well.
I heard that.
Fantastic.
Yes. If they ever put a star on a pavement in PE like they do in Hollywood, there should be one for Bob Eveleigh.
Absolutely, they will have to be the first one. The handprints.
Yeah. Him and then Gary. Yeah.
Yes. Oh man, and Bob loves. I think that's just the love of his life. Is that Showtime? He's just you know, always and so many kids have come through, done the Showtime, and gone on to do other stuff. You know, it's often that little spark that they need, like the On the Go show.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was the Herald On the Go show for a while. I think it's.
It was the Herald. Then when I was doing it, we linked up with Radio Algoa. It was then called Algoa FM, and did the two together. I remember having Peter Wise as a compere once. You know Peter.
Yes, I remember Peter. Yes, absolutely.
And because Peter Wise is slightly disabled due to thalidomide or whatever, there was some conflict about him being the compere. And one of the people on the committee said to Peter, "What happens if you drop your notes?" He says, "I break dance." And
good on Peter.
That's the type of guy he was. And he did a great job. Yeah.
I'm sure. No, he was great. He was really great. Also, another guy that's inspired a lot of the DJs that I've had on. I've had a lot of DJs on the show as well, and they've always spoken about Peter as well. A lot of them. But let's have a look. We've got a couple more surprises. Let's go through them a bit. Let's have a look here. Who's this?
Andre from Jeremy and Anne in Johannesburg. We're really thinking of you in the United Kingdom, and so often we sit down and we think back on the magnificent days that we had on the Eastern Province Herald under your tutorship and guidance. You played a huge part in my career, and you will remain forever good friends of ours. We hope you and the family are good and have a magnificent December.
I ditto that. Lovely to speak to you. And I hope that you all well. And when we come over to your part of the world, hope to see you.
There we go, Jeremy Maggs.
Yeah, now Maggs was a junior reporter when Langa happened.
Oh wow,
and,
really?
Yeah,
okay.
And he was out at the scene. Well, he went to it afterwards, and I think it had a severe impact on him.
Yeah.
But yeah, a good reporter, and so was Anne. Yeah.
Well, he's done very well for himself. I know. I think he's up in Joburg.
He even did Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, I think.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Indeed. Oh man. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. Let's go. We got a couple. We got a couple left here. Let's have a look.
Must say I was very surprised and somewhat flattered to be asked to take part in this exercise. I hope you will. I'm speaking to you from Longabon, where I'm now well and truly retired, having been kicked out of, well, actually I kicked myself out of the Gupta enterprise about a dozen years ago. I told to stick his job in a place where the sun don't shine. Even before we knew just what a bad rotter he was, although he's still my Facebook friend. I enjoy seeing your stuff on Facebook from time to time. And I hope you're doing well. Another bit of useless information you might enjoy is that Elon Musk's father also lives here in Longabon. A fairly recent arrival. And another person you might be interested to hear is Isabel Koch.
Yes.
I think she traced me through Facebook and called me one day wanting to discuss the Bird Island book the week it was published. She wanted to know if I thought it was all true or not. Keep well, mate.
He was the news editor before me, Gareth.
Okay.
The Herald, yeah. The Bird Island stuff
legend.
is all true. Yeah.
Gee was yeah. So you guys were doing stuff at that time as well.
I remember being at the airport and with a photographer and who was the Minister of Defense? Milan.
Milan, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and somebody else arrived in a helicopter, picked up some younger folk and disappeared, and they were going to Bird Island.
Wow. So that was actually good. I'm trying to remember who that was that we were talking. I think we might have even had someone talking about that as well on the show. That's an interesting. It was a book, eh? Is that book? I can't remember who it was that wrote the book. No,
I can't remember either. I know one of the people involved in it died, and apparently it was suicide. I don't know.
Yes, it's the Jeffrey Epstein of PE. Yeah, I think so. That was crazy. There was a guy, and I can't remember who it was that I was talking about it. But interesting. That's very interesting that you can actually back that up. Okay, let's have a look at some. We got two more here. Let's have a look quickly.
Sam Fenter here. I hope you're well in chilly London and you're finding some decent wine to drink, preferably South African. It'd be great to hear what you're drinking over there and how your wine club's going. I think I remember you from my days when I was on the Herald and you were on the Evening Post. Our mutual friend Tanya Cull. Lots of laughs, and I think we all learned a lot from you as well. But I think the thing that most always stands out for me is that very dry, very quick wit of yours that it's almost impossible to match or reply to. Anyway, it's early in the day, so I'll cheers you with coffee, and great to see you again.
Oh, excellent, Sam. I love Sam.
She's fun.
Sam. Yeah. Now, Sam and I were at school together from sub-A to matric. And I just want to go and hug her there when I see her. She's such a sweetie. She helped me out with Michael White the other day, who's from Elgin.
Yeah, that was a good interview. I enjoyed that. Yeah.
Yes. She was, and Sam was asking the more difficult wine questions. I was doing the kakpraat, and she was doing the wine questions. Micah says hi from Monica.
Micah is my granddaughter. Yeah.
Oh, a granddaughter.
Yeah, well, I have one here and I have a few in South Africa. Yeah, well, not a few.
Oh, really?
2 granddaughters in South Africa. Yeah.
Most impressive, Andre. Well, then we will forgive you for the grey hair. That's fine. Oh man. Okay, so I think we got one more to go. Let's have a quick quiz.
No, hey Andre. Long time no see, guys. Just flying the flag for EP newspapers all around the world, apparently. So you're in London, people all over the place. I'm saying cheers to you from Melbourne, Australia. I'm not in Melbourne at the moment, just on holiday in Halls Gap. We're taking a little break between lockdowns. Officially the longest lockdown city in the world. Something to celebrate? No. Maybe we'll catch up for a real beer one day. Talk to you later. All the best, Andre. Cheers, Gino.
Lance Dodd.
Lance, gosh. He was fun as well, yeah.
Yeah, he was. He's got a solid Australian accent going on.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly they adapt. I should work on my English accent, I think. Trouble is, there are too many South Africans here.
Oh, he's got so much that he even missed that, Halls Gap. It sounds like a terrible place. He misses those little subtleties these days, I see.
Yeah, well, not always. But it's amazing how the people who work for those 2 newspapers have spread around the world.
Yes. Amazing. Hey?
Quite a few to Australia, quite a few here, yeah.
No, the expats have spread far and wide, but they always like to come back and kind of say, how's it again, and check it out,
Yeah.
And I still believe that there's so much potential here, especially here, Gqeberha PE. Nelson Mandela Bay is it's a beautiful place still, and if we, like you say, if we just look forward, we're going to go. It's going to happen.
Be positive, not a blood group, but a state of mind.
Yes, be positive. That was a joke. My father, just before my father died, he said to me, we didn't know what blood group he was to save his life, and he said, be positive, but it was so hard because oh no.
Yeah.
Barry Avery in Australia and Jerry McCabe in New Zealand as well, as Gary's saying here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're all spread all over
Yeah,
the place.
they are, yes.
Yeah.
But Barry Avery is working for a gold company, a gold mining company, apparently.
Well, you wouldn't think he'd move out of South Africa for that.
I've no idea, but he seems happy last time I spoke to him, yeah.
No, fantastic. All right, Andre, a quick couple of let's say a couple of little questions here. I've got getting to know you section here, and I've got a quick questions, and then we can get into the final.
Getting to know you, getting to know all about you.
Just a couple of silly ones. Oh, what's your current obsession?
Current obsession? Finding a decent South African wine in UK. I'm saying that for Sam's benefit.
Yes.
I don't know, just to be happy.
Yeah. Okay, that's an obsession. That doesn't sound an obsession.
My current obsession would be to find fuel for my car. But
oh yes. Oh, that must be quite difficult. That's quite a hell of a thing. What is actually going on there? I mean, I've just been skimming over the news with that. I don't understand why England hasn't got food and petrol. It sounds like South Africa to me.
Well, people say it's because of Brexit. There's a shortage of truck drivers. So fuel is in the depot, they can't get it to the forecourt quick enough. And somebody said, there's going to be a fuel shortage, and everyone believed it. So now there is, because they went and filled up their cars when they didn't need to.
So everyone's got full tanks, but nobody's got petrol.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
All right, what makes you really angry?
Discretion. When people discrimination, not discretion.
Discrimination.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, discrimination.
You need discretion to find discrimination.
Yes, yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I think that, and people, besides bad road drivers and people using e-scooters on the road.
Are you a bit of a road rager, are you?
Not really. I just have advice for other drivers.
There was a British program I saw where they actually had a program about people who were ridiculous road rage people, and they're like, the one guy had a list of 50 cars. Yeah. He said these drivers that drove these cars are terrible drivers. Vauxhall drivers are the worst. He says.
Or white vans, yeah.
And he went up the list. Eventually, got to BMW drivers. They're terrible. Like what?
Well, yeah. The BMW drivers are universally known for very few can afford the executive model, which has an indicator. Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, man. Okay, so what would you say the biggest accomplishment in your career so far?
Probably being news editor on the Herald and assistant editor on the Post, and to keep it going as it was closing. Those two, I would say. Yeah.
No, that's a tough job. That was it.
And not getting the job as bass player for the Rolling Stones would be my biggest disappointment.
Yeah. Did Charlie say no? No, Andre, we can't have that.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, no. Let's see. Have you got any strange superstitions or things like that?
No, I don't think so. I'm probably mildly obsessive about things. Like I like things to be in a certain order. I still have a whole bunch of CDs.
But OCD.
Yeah, OCD. It's all about my CDs.
Yes,
and I keep trying to put them in alphabetical order. Yeah.
Oh my God! So you still keep your CDs and do that as well. You got your CDs.
Well,
you haven't even uploaded them.
Well, yeah, I've got
Spotify now
as well. Yes.
Yes.
Nice to have the original. Yeah.
Samantha Gerber saying hello.
Oh yes, she's in Plettenberg Bay.
Oh, lovely. Oh, nice. I hope the weather's going to be good there, because if it is good there, it's going to be good here tomorrow. Alphabetic LPs. Oh, we got LPs as well.
Yep. Well, Jackie used to help me alphabetize them. And then you'd argue about, does Death Hotel go under J or T? Yeah.
That is ridiculous. Andre, that is a pain in the arse. That's what that is.
Yeah, it probably was, yeah. And then you'd get a new one, so you'd have to put that in and shuffle all the others along. Yeah.
Gary's saying something. Jethro Tull is under F for flute. He says. Have you got an embarrassing story from your childhood?
From my childhood?
Yes, or from any time, actually.
One of my most embarrassing adult things was having to sing karaoke at the Fish River Sun.
Oh.
And I chose "You've Lost That Loving Feeling" because I thought it only had one note. Well, it might have had, but I was nowhere near it.
No.
And I sang it lovingly to my wife, Lynn.
Oh, lovely.
She wasn't that impressed with my vocal rendition.
Okay. Well, hopefully she'd had enough nachtmusiek by then too.
No, and fortunately, there was only an audience of about 20 or 30, so it wasn't that bad.
That's okay. That's okay. All right. Anything on your bucket list that you still want to do?
Yeah, I'd like to go have a beer with Lance Dodd in Australia. No,
that's a good idea.
We enjoy travel. I haven't been to Australia or New Zealand.
Okay.
Bucket list? No, not really. I'm happy with most of the things that I'm happy with what I've got at the moment. Like most people, I'd like more. We enjoy traveling. Our dream is to retire and get a camper van or go camping, just work our way through Europe from here to Greece. Yeah, that'll be
That's
cool.
something like that you do in your 20s, you know, Andre.
Yeah, well apparently I don't make the
might
age
be a
limit.
bit shit now.
Well, I don't know. But people they'll take pity on the utopies. Huh?
Yeah, they do. And you're certainly going to be interesting. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's have a look at the either ors. We're going to do some either ors with you.
Okay.
All right. The first one: antique or brand new?
Antique.
Touch or taste?
Oh, taste.
Ooh. Oh, nice. Very good food. I'm surprised you're not fatter than you are. Alone or in a crowd?
Tough one. Crowd.
You like a bit of a party.
No, but you can be alone in a crowd. You see, that's why I said tough one.
Oh, I see. Oh, that sounds so sad. Les B saying, how's it? Is that your brother-in-law?
I didn't know how the brother-in-law named Les B.
Les B. Well, Les B.
Les B friend.
Who Les B really is. My word. A red wine or white wine?
Red.
Red, excellent. Makeup or no makeup?
Me personally.
This was...
Yes. I prefer to go without, although a bit of eyeshadow does help. No, I'm not a makeup fan.
No, okay. I've been stealing questions from my last female guest here, so I'm just checking. Okay, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Dogs. I like the dogs, eh? Save or spend?
You have to save to spend, so I spend.
I was going to say, you have to spend. Somebody that stops his job at the Weekend Post so then buggers off overseas in that time frame, it's got to be a spender. It's a risk taker. I love that.
Yeah,
you've got to take, and it's a brave move. It's true. It says something about yourself. Forest or beach?
Beach.
Beach, excellent. I love that. Okay, so we're on to the would you rathers. Let's have a look. All right, would you rather be wealthy doing something you hate or be poor doing something you love for the rest of your life?
The last one, doing something I love.
Poor and doing something you love.
Yeah. Well, because I'm doing that at the moment.
Can't even afford petrol or food.
There you go. Yeah.
I love it. But would you rather be wise and unhappy or stupid and happy?
I guess wise. Because if you're stupid, you don't know what you're missing. Yeah.
But you're going to be sad. Yeah. Lynn's not going to put up with you. And there's divorce coming already.
Yeah. I'm waiting for an objection to that. Yeah.
Right. Would you rather live a miserable life or not be born at all? This is a Gary question, this one.
That's got to be a Gary question. That's like Schrodinger's cat.
It is.
Yeah, well, if you wouldn't know if you hadn't been born. So I guess if you live a miserable life, it's up to you to make it better. Sorry, I was leaning down to pat my dog.
Oh, that's all right. Oh, is that what you call it?
I'll show you. I can show it to you.
Oh, well, no. This is a family show. Would you rather save your mom from a burning building or 10 babies?
Well, my mother has since died, but she wasn't in a burning building.
Oh, she wasn't. Were there 10 babies in the building? Did you save them?
I don't know. Was it a maternity ward? Yeah.
It must have been.
I guess I'd save the babies.
Oh, right, yeah, because your mom wouldn't mind. She would. That's what she would choose.
I guess, yeah.
Sam's saying those are so Gary questions. You're absolutely right, Sam. Okay, one last one. Would you rather? Would you rather save your pet or a random stranger out of a river?
I guess it'll be my pet.
That stranger, he could give you money. He could be so thankful to you.
That random stranger could have been Elon Musk's dad living down in wherever, Langebaan.
In Langebaan. Your dog's coming out first. Classic.
If you take the dog out, it lowers the level of the water, you see.
All right, so he can swim.
Yeah.
That's a long shot. That's a long shot. Andre, we've got one more question that we always ask everybody. That is your proudest moment, and other than marrying your spouse or the birth of your children, you've got to think about career stuff. Proudest moment, and then something where something's gone completely wrong. So start with your proudest moment. What do you think?
Not counting marriage and family and stuff like that. So in a career.
No, that's boring.
Yeah. This is going to sound weird, but when I worked for Ford Motor Company, I was taking people around a rally stage, special stage rallies, and I was in a Granada gear automatic.
Oh, I know the one. Yes, that square box.
And I went through a special stage to drop a photographer at the end, and we were like 2 minutes ahead of the first rally car, and the guy clocked me when I finished, and I ended up having the third fastest time for that stage.
Yeah. Whoa!
But that wasn't too shabby. Yeah.
Was he navigating for you? Because that freaks me out. There's guys in those rally cars, hey?
Yeah. He just sits there and looks at a piece of paper and says you turn left in 200 yards. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he just feels where you go, and you're jumping over freaking at 190 k's an hour on a gravel road. I mean, it's just absolutely insane.
That is weird. Yeah.
It is. I still don't know how they do it. There's some sort of shorthand that they use as well. It's like 22 left and 450 right.
Yeah, there has to be, yeah. And you're bouncing along trying to read that at the same time.
I know. It's crazy. I love rally. I love it. Okay, so that's your proudest moment. And then what about your something when something's gone completely wrong?
Okay, I just remembered now, being at some function in the Feather Market Hall, it could have been like Citizen of the Year or the Industry Awards or something like that, and I was the Master of Ceremonies. And a very good friend of mine, Matt Genrich, walked in with his wife, Tony, and she was wearing this lovely red dress, and she said to me, I said, that dress looks really good on you. She said, it's so tight I couldn't wear underwear. Anyway, I'm then up on stage and people are moving about and I see someone with a red dress and I said, that looks good considering you haven't got underwear. And it wasn't Tony.
Oh. Ja, jy weet daai Andre Erasmus is 'n bietjie vatterig.
Vatterig, geez, I haven't heard that in years, yeah.
Oh, thank you, Andre Erasmus. Thank you so much for coming on board.
Thank you.
It's been fantastic and it's lovely to see you again and have a chat. We've missed you, man. We've missed you and we hope that in December, if you're coming out, you're going to come and say hello.
I will do that, yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right, Andre. And now what we've got is our competition. We have a competition now that we give away the Fitchin Leads. Indeed, for those of you who are left online, you can win Fitchin Leads, and we'll send it to you wherever you are. What you got to do is we're going to go with the drum cam, and you have to put in the name of the song and the name of the artist in the comments. The first one to comment with the name of the song and the name of the artist, you are going to be the winner. So let's go for it. Let's do it. You are the winner. I think she might be overseas, but we'll check. Maybe you can gift it to somebody. Thank you, Bronwyn. You were the winner tonight, and thank you to Andre Erasmus. Andre, you've been an absolute legend. It's wonderful to catch up again, and we will see you, ladies and gentlemen, on Tuesday when we have Angelo from Spa is coming in. He heads up Spa here in the Eastern Cape. We're going to chat to him about his history and what's going on. All right. All right. Thank you to Fitchin Leads. Thank you to Spa. And thank you to Amobia for our internet. Woo! Thank you, Nicholas.
Relax, sit down. Coming out of PE town. Drink, find a shot. Never mind your liver. Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle. Have a Gino shot.
Gino's shot.
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Get to Gino's spot.
Gino's spot.
Have a laugh, have a giggle, and exercise your middle.